Welcome to Overitall Thursday, the podcast. Thursdays, the podcast. Welcome to Overitall Thursdays, the podcast. Quick little PSA. Apologies for how long it's been since we've posted an episode. Being an educator is a full-time job, regardless of what your hours are. So things kind of got ahead of us while we were approaching for spring break and that sort of thing. Primarily work with seniors and they gotta graduate. They needed our attention. That being said, hope you enjoy the episode. It's a spicy one, and thank you. Today I am hosting and I am joined here with my two beautiful co-hosts and special guests, Gigi,
Hey.
Annie and Nicole. Say hi.
Hello. Hello.
And if we want to pull in Nicole, Elliot, say hi. Cameraman.
Hi.
And today, as per usual, we are going to talk about the things that we are over. Do you guys want to go first?
Want me to start it?
Yeah, start it.
We have one major thing that we kind of all collectively are over, and then Nadia has a very special guest thing that she's over as well.
I have a pocket.
She got notes. Okay. In our profession, in our personal lives as well, but we see this most in our profession, it is incredibly disappointing, incredibly infuriating, frustrating, disappointing, disgusting, heinous, horrendous, the parents that our students go home to. And I will preface this.
Not all of them, but a lot of
many of them. And I will preface this by saying I fully believe and understand that when we have parents that are really screwing their kids' lives up, I genuinely believe it's because they need therapy, supports, they have lack of resources, they weren't taught, it's often generational, and I understand that. And that's part of what we're over. Every single day we have somebody that comes in, student or otherwise, who is suffering in life because of parents' bad behavior or lack of doing anything. And I don't think that, maybe they realize it, but I just don't think that people understand how much damage that's doing, and that your kids are still your children. And in our space, they're minors. So it's like your minor children don't have many other options or resources to be able to navigate the shitstorm that is their lives. And just today, I had 3 students and 1 non-student talking about the ways that their parents have royally screwed up their current situation just in one day.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much.
And that's an average. That's generally the average of that we see.
Yeah, that is not uncommon, and that's not a major number. That's a pretty
Average.
Steady thing that we hear. But it goes to broken systems everywhere. But I think the piece of it that I'm over today, or that we're over today, is where are the parents? Parents want to have, sole control over things their students are taught, but then blame the teachers for not teaching them. Parents don't want to have these tough conversations, and so teachers will, but then teachers get in trouble for having those tough conversations. Parents don't want to teach about resources or safe sex or drug use or alcohol use or anything that is detrimental to a teen, but then they also don't want the teachers, who often have good relationships with their kids, to be able to have those conversations. So who's getting screwed in all of that? The kid. And I'm over that, because our hands are so tied with what we can legally do. And oftentimes parents don't want the support or have a hard time knowing how to ask for it because maybe it's embarrassing. There's lots of things that go into it, but God damn, the struggle that we see on the daily in children is it's becoming too much. It's just, I'm over that. I'm over the struggling parents. and the way it's impacting your kids.
Mom and dad / parent is more than just a title.
Oh yeah, it's got to be.
Well, and when you think about and look at the idea of generational trauma and all of that, we absolutely feel for everyone involved, but at some point you have to say to yourself, oh shit, I'm the adult. I need to fix things so that I don't fuck my kid up even more. And if you think that your decisions aren't affecting your children, you are absolutely 1,000 trillion% wrong. Because one thing I cannot stand is when we have these kids that come in and they have to take care, like they're the one caretaker for their kids, for their parents, excuse me, and all of a sudden something happens and the parent says, well, I'm the parent, you're the child. You know what? Then fucking act like it, for goddamn sake.
Period.
Well, not only that, I mean, when it comes to generational trauma, we can have that empathy for it, but the saying I love is explanation, not an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
It explains the behavior, but it doesn't excuse the behavior.
Correct.
So you need to change it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Number one. Number two, I also think it's quite ironic that a lot of these kids then get blamed for a lot of issues they have,
Mm-hmm.
even when the parent is a shitty, not even a parent. You can't call them a parent.
My favorite thing is when I've heard horror stories from students and parents. If you think your kid isn't here telling us every goddamn thing you do, you need to think again, because we know everything.
And also, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome for not spreading it all over the place and airing your dirty laundry. But one of the things I absolutely cannot stand is when a parent who I know has taken advantage of their child comes in and pretends to have their shit together.
Like suddenly it matters.
And
Mm-hmm.
and I want to know where they are, and I want to know what they're doing, and blah blah blah. Where the been for the last 4 years?
Yeah, that one's rough.
That is always a tough situation.
And it's hard on the other side of that situation where you have a student who has been parentified and forced to grow up quicker, but they're doing it and they're killing it and they're making money and they're coming to school and they're handling all of it, because what other option do they have? And then that gets thrown in their face. Oh, you think you're better than us. Oh, you think that you're so grown. Oh, you think that you're, and it's like, yeah, they do think they're grown. They do think they're independent. They do think they have that. You know why? Because they do, and they are. Like, I don't know how many students we have who are primary breadwinners for the family. And I'm not saying that every single scenario it's because there's an abusive home situation, but thinking at a systemic level, it is really, really hard to take in and understand that children are currently making money to support a household. And in the demographic that we see, it is a lot more than you would probably even guess. And that's why we started our whole program, is because during the pandemic especially, we had too many students who had to decide, do I get a job or do I graduate high school? And we said, hey, guess what? We're going to make it so you can do both. And unfortunately, that trend has continued where so many kids
It's multiplied.
get jobs because they can.
Or they have to.
Or they have to. And they start making a lot of money. And boy, that sure makes an education seem like not as important. And I was just going to say, and oftentimes the parents aren't working. And so then it's like, what are we doing? Like, this is really, we really got twisted somewhere, that children are raising parents, including providing financially. Like, that's not right.
No, it's not. And I forgot what I was going to say when I rudely interrupted you.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about from what you were saying and what Elliot was saying was, even in like the best of scenarios, in a great home where parents are, I think, genuinely doing their best, parents don't know what they don't know. And sometimes it can be really hard to reach out or even to know what resources to ask for, or to even realize that your kid doesn't know. I think a lot of parents make assumptions that your kids just like learn how to do things, but you've never taught them. Like I always think about that student who was about to graduate high school who had never once vacuumed. And so Nicole had to teach a high school student how to vacuum. Like that to me says some giant gap happened at home. I'm sure we can all think of situations like that, but I'm just, I don't know. I know that, not to put your family on blast or mine or yours or Elliot's, but we have all had varying degrees of experiences with this personally.
Yeah.
And we've all witnessed it. It's not specific to like my perspective. This is like everybody, I guarantee, has seen or personally experienced it.
Yeah. And here's something. I don't care if you're an adult and you go out in your 20s and you party and you do drugs and whatever, but once you become a parent and there's a child involved, that needs to go away. That's not a both and. That's an either or situation. I don't judge people for that. Like, I had an incredible life in the 20s and but guess what? I didn't have a child. And I wasn't working with children. And I feel like when you get to that point where you're having children, the alcohol needs to slow down. Everything needs to be in moderation. The hard drugs need to go away. You don't have any clue how many times I've dealt with parents that come in here higher than God.
On all
and then act like
variety of
nothing.
Substances. Yeah.
And then act like everything's fine. Like literally in meetings where their head's bobbing and I don't know how they're going to get home.
And just as a wake-up call, your kids know everything that you're doing.
And they're trying to protect the shit out of you. Be grateful for the fact that you have these kids so twisted up in the game that they are willing to lie for you. They're willing to do anything to keep you safe.
Yeah, the least you could do is return that favor.
Yeah, the least you could do is put the pipe down, for God's sake.
And on like the other end of that spectrum, like budget your money. Right? Like
Right.
It's a spectrum of things that are impacting the kids, from financial hardship that shouldn't be there all the way to like insane abuse of substances. Everything in between there was impacting your
Human
kid.
trafficking. Well, no.
No, I know. You just
like-
always go for the big ones, and it's important, and
It
it's
is.
reality.
I want people to understand, like, we're not just dealing with somebody that forgot their goddamn pencil.
Or didn't pack a lunch.
That would be amazing if we just had that to deal with. No, it is things like
alcoholism through the roof.
we have kids that are being trafficked. Their parents are being trafficked. We have kids being given drugs to sell at school. We have all sorts of things that we deal with that all boil down to one thing, and that is shitty parenting.
And lack of resources to support parents. I think there's a big misunderstanding in our society that once you have a baby, you magically learn how to be a parent, and that's just not true. Just like a kid doesn't automatically know how to be a human. They have to learn that. Well, parents need to learn that too. And that's where that generational piece comes in, is when you don't, and when you haven't been taught that for generations, of course you don't know it. And this whole, when we're talking about inheriting trauma, if you wanted to look into that, it's called epigenetics. And they used to say that that was like woo-woo and not real, but it is 100% scientifically backed and proven that trauma changes our DNA, we inherit that DNA, we are forever changed because of it. Can we heal from it? 100% yes. Does it still impact us? 100% yes.
Become rewired or wired differently.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I want you to be aware of, parents, is once your child turns 18, they're still your child. That doesn't mean you're kicking them out of the house. Do you know how many kids that we have that are so afraid to graduate, so afraid to move forward, because as soon as they do, they know that they're going to get kicked out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely ludicrous, especially in this day and age where no one can afford a place to live, to have an expectation that your 18-year-old child is gonna be packed up and on their way out the door the second that they turn 18.
I mean, you weren't ready.
No.
I don't care what your life situation was. You weren't ready at 18 to be a full functioning independent adult. I wasn't, and I had a fantastic family situation. And I was in a position where I could move out and go to college and move into my own apartment. And I got smacked upside the head with all sorts of adulting things. And that was, to me, the best possible like situation somebody could be in when they're turning 18 and moving out. And I still didn't know things. I called my mom all the time about how you do stuff around the house. And luckily I had a mom who knew. Like, my mom's awesome when it comes to that.
Well,
I mean, she's awesome in general, but like, she was a great mother in teaching all those skills.
And my parents taught me a lot of independence and a lot of resiliency and a lot of what I am today, which is hard work.
Your hard work?
Yes, my hard work. And my parents also dealt with a lot of mental health issues that they didn't know how to deal with because of the fact that back in their day that was considered, we don't talk about that. We just
Well, they didn't know how to deal with them because they didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
You can't fix or heal or tame anything until you can name it. And of course your parents didn't have that.
Right.
Because that wasn't a thing.
But now we know it's a thing. And for those of you that aren't taking care of that thing and you're doing drugs or you're treating your kids like shit and you're being abusive and all of those things, like, get fucking therapy.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do for a kid is love them. And loving them sometimes means getting your own shit together. And
don't, and on the flip side, we also don't what is
correct. Overcorrect?
No,
Compensate.
Kind of, but like when you're constantly saving them.
Oh, like a helicopter
Coddle?
parent?
Yeah, like
Coddle? Like coddling?
Yeah, over coddling is also bad parenting. Like your kid needs to learn how to fail and get back up. And it's not always everybody else's fucking fault.
And not be kept down when they failed. Like,
yeah.
You wouldn't like that. When you screw up, you don't want somebody to sit there and point it in your face and make you feel like crap. Well, guess what? Your kid doesn't need that either, or like that either. It doesn't work. If it's not effective for you, why are you doing it to your kid? Like, sometimes we just forget that this is all a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're a human, your kid's a human. That's it. Do you want to say anything about any of it?
Coming from a student whose parents at the time maybe didn't all have the tools, and were dealing with stuff actively, like, I understand where our kids are coming from, and it's kind of a double-edged sword thing, and talking about resources is a big thing. I think that my parents didn't know what to do, and it's a generational thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think my parents were provided with all the tools that they needed in order to better support me, you know?
And they did the best they had with, best they could with what they had.
Yeah, and I never want to, with all this being said, take away from the things that the parents are doing right, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And none of this, we're addressing,
even if it's bare minimum sometimes.
We're addressing the extreme, I guess, and not the average parent, like, but you need to understand that, like, we deal with you. We work with your kid, and we love your kid, and we want them to be successful, and you're part of that equation.
Yeah. And maybe like moving forward, we can incorporate some resources as we
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
like. Even
We
though
can
we
do
got lots we're over, we've
Yeah.
got some ways that we can be providing support as well.
I can do some homework.
Well,
Next
and we have
episode
so
we'll-
many. We have so much information on trauma.
I mean, it is why we started this whole thing.
Right.
This is a big piece of that.
The core
Is
fundamental thing.
we understand that there is disparity. One step.
And we understand that your kids sometimes have to chip in with that, but when you're doing drugs and your kid is the only one that's out working, that's a whole other level of,
We need to get something figured out.
yeah, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah. Do you want to show
Okay,
your
tell
other
us
one?
about your tell us
Okay.
about your little video game.
So
And we can all exhale.
I do have a tiny bit of notes. Now, I need to preface that I don't think this is necessarily the game's issue. It's more so a bigger company issue. Think Brother Plumber Company, right? Is that enough reference for like calling out a big company without saying the name? Nintendo.
Okay.
So I play this game.
Not Sega. It's
Yeah.
something. It's something else.
Yeah, something else. So I play a game on multiple consoles, but I have the same account and it transfers over, okay? It's called Dead by Daylight. It's been out since 2015. It's been out on the Switch since 2016, okay? Now, there's in-game currency. It's called Overitall, okay? You can either buy in-game currency or you can directly buy licensed packs. Now, I did not realize that the undisclosed company and its consoles have this game, but if you are to purchase licensed packs through them, they won't transfer to other parts of your or other accounts on other consoles and systems. So
Oh no, fuck the man.
So it feels like a waste of money.
almost.
Okay.
So I have listed here some, just so you kind of get an idea.
And this said
5
company rhymes with Lim Bendo.
Yeah. So I just know they have a lot of money. Not that they'll ever see this, but
You never know.
yeah, you never know. For 500 Overitall, which is like the least you can buy at their shop, it's $4.99. Then it goes up to 1,100 Overitall for $10, and then 2,250 for $20. Okay. They just had a thing that happened for the Stranger Things that just came out, so they had a big event. This game has a lot of my hyperfixations in it, so of course
Yay.
I'm buying the packs, you know? I spend $32 on this game, which that's just a lot to spend on a video game that only costs $11 core right now, okay? I bought skins, I bought new characters, I bought
Coins,
the
all
whole
the things.
the whole shebang, okay?
It's like
It's the outfit your
it's the
character
thing,
wears.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get
I
a little
knew.
freaked out by that.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Okay.
Playable characters in the game. So
Okay.
I bought these all on my Switch console, and I started
Oh.
playing it on the Xbox, and none of them transferred over.
For shit's sakes.
Besides, here's the thing. If I were to buy the characters individually and didn't buy them as a pack with Overitall, they still would have transferred. But because I bought them in a DLC like pack, DLC stands for downloadable content.
Through the Nintendo
Nintendo
Shop.
shop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one way, like, the rich are getting richer.
Yes. So last night, I really wanted to play. I bought a legendary skin, which granted that was where the majority of the money went. I had to spend like 10 extra bucks on this skin alone, okay? Like, I wanted my skin, for something, and I wanted the outfit. Okay, I wanted to play as the character because there's special abilities that character has, and all this and that, whatever. So I had to go in and spend $25 more rebuying my skins and characters.
So
Over the
so
weekend.
far, if you do the math on that, that's $57.
I want to point out an important word in that whole situation. Had. I had to.
I didn't have to. I wanted to.
No, but I know what you're talking about. Like, that's a lot of money that, for a billionaire company,
Yeah.
that
And it's
should
because
be flawless.
And it's because Schmintendo has a bunch of
Nintendo, it's
Lindendo.
Lindendo.
It's because Nintendo has too many. It's harder for them to do contracts with all these different companies because
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
talking.
I'm sure
we're talking.
it's really difficult for them to do a goddamn contract.
Well, they'd have to reach out to like everybody, but the two particular ones that I have in the game are like Resident Evil and obviously the Stranger Things.
Seems like somebody dropped the fucking ball at Limbendo.
Limbendo.
Limbendo needs to.
They're
bend
also
over.
targeted more towards kids, so it's a little harder for them to get the licensing to do so.
If
That's
they
their
wanted
excuse.
to, they would.
Literally, if
Yeah.
they wanted to, they
Damn
would.
it!
That is accurate to like.
So
Everything.
All of this is set up to.
Period. That is the thing.
Here's
If
the
they
thing.
wanted to, they would.
here's the shitty thing: if I were to buy everything that I did on the Xbox, I wouldn't have to rebuy it. It would have transferred over to the Nintendo. And I did
Call
love
out!
that.
Call out! Call out!
So
Wait, what is that? Is it this one or is it this one?
Wait.
I don't know. I'm just gonna go.
You're
with
saying no right
this
now.
is clapping.
One or one.
one or one.
This is clapping.
Clock that T.
Also, I
Not
recently
clocking
found
it.
out that
Clocking
clocking tea might be culturally appropriating queer people.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
That's a
Thank God we're all
conversation for the
queer.
next
We're all
day.
queer. We can do it. What do you, cultural appropriate
Wait,
myself?
wait, what the hell is Gigi over?
Gigi.
Yeah.
I'm over this whole day.
Yeah.
She's over
She's
taking
been-
on
Okay, but
kids.
come on, look at the
Drama.
cuteness.
The little
Okay,
Shrek
we are
hoodies.
not over this fit because she just got this is all new for her, and she just got this awesome new hoodie, and yeah, the baby.
Oh, the baby. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say?
You know what we're over about you? You getting up at 3 a.m. to eat breakfast.
How about the
Little
pooping
psycho.
in the classroom?
You know, that doesn't bug me as much as when
Oh,
she
the
pees
baby.
in the house.
Okay, did you want to say anything else, Gigi?
She's over her sister
She's
being mean
she's
to
telling
her.
him to like and subscribe.
Are you telling him, okay, thanks for following?
Like and subscribe.